let's take a look at our way, the way we farm. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the way we farm. Because when we get into the new world and we get into the higher dimensions and we start building our self-sustaining communities and things like that of that nature, we have to look at farming in a different lens. We won't have all the industrial farming techniques and a lot of the machinery that we have currently when we get into building our self-sustaining communities and living off the land like we once used to and we know how to. So there's certain ways that are set up for you to farm that you need to remember, uh, that go back to ancient times. With esoteric farming, the esoteric farming is having to do with the moon cycles, it's having to do with the solar patterns, and it's having to do with the flow of the body, the blood flow throughout the body, and it's having to do with the biorhythms of the human body and the biorhythms of the earth. If that makes sense. If you go outside and you take your socks and shoes off and you meditate for a second, you should be able to meditate for a second and stand flat footed on the earth. And you should be able to pinpoint exactly where the earth and the biorhythms of the earth and the biorhythms of your body, you should be able to pinpoint the exact spot where you think is best for you to plant whatever plant or herb uh in that yard, in that vineyard. So when we talk about different plants and different herbs, there's different plants and herbs that haven't been revealed to you simply because you're on the western side of the world. You know, just because we're over here in the West and we're over here in the United States, there are certain plants and herbs that we haven't even been exposed to yet, that we have no knowledge about. If you look at some of these plants and herbs from the Nightshade family, there's plants called the Nightshade. These are called the Nightshade plants. So you got different plants that are able to grow. Like I said in the previous video, plants use the photosynthesis, right? And they get the information from the sun, from the light, and that's how they grow. This is how humans grow too. That's why we need sunlight ourselves. But with the nightshade plants, these plants are a specific family of plants that grow best in the lunar times of the day under the moon. So what this means is these plants are requiring a different type of energy for them to grow. So how do these plants affect us as humans when we ingest these plants, or when we turn these plants into oils or lotions? Because when you ingesting stuff, it's not necessarily meaning that you're eating or drinking it. When you rub something on your skin, you're ingesting it. When you put something in your hair, you're ingesting it. Anything that you absorb through body contact, you're ingesting. The soap that you put on your body, even the water that you shower with. In certain places, in certain areas, the water is different. The government, the government in certain places, they know the water is different. You can be in one zip code and you can take a shower in that water and take a bath in that water, and then you go to another zip code and you could take a shower and a bath in that water and it's totally different water, and you can feel the difference in the texture of the water and how hard it is or how soft it is and how chemically processed it is. With the nightshade plants, it's a different type of consciousness that you are introducing to your mind, into your psyche, and into your body, and into your auric field, into your energetic frequency. The nightshade plants are on a different frequency, not like the plants that are in the sun that grow, that we, ingest and use for lotions and creams and for food on a daily basis. One in particular, just a list. You got like eggplants or nightshade plants. Um, it's a long list of different nightshade plants. Like the honeysuckle plants or nightshade plants. It's other different kind of vegetables that are nightshade plants. But one in particular that's very interesting is the mandrake. So the mandrake actually is a plant that is a nightshade plant, and it grows a little bit differently. If you've seen a mandrake root or a mandrake plant before, it actually resembles a person. These plants have different properties that when you break them down and turn them into oils, they have adverse effects that can influence humans in positive or negative ways. Uh, if you was to take mandrake oil, first of all, mandrake oil is a cure to a lot of different sicknesses and a lot of different illnesses. You could use mandrake oil for things like erectile dysfunction. You could use mandrake oil to cure stomach ulcers. You can use mandrake oil for just to heal any type of sicknesses and diseases. And this isn't a plant that we use here in America. And it's not grown here in America. But just using it a little bit, sprinkling a little bit on your food or putting it in a smoothie or ingesting small traces of mandrake will drastically change the your perception. It'll increase the sensitivity of your third eye. It helps strengthen the immune system. These plants are shaped like actual people. Now, the yogis and some of the Indians will tell you that these plants are actual people who incarnated back on Earth as plants. Because sometimes people incarnate back on Earth and they switch into a different type of life form. That's part of the reincarnation system. We can talk about the reincarnation system if you get caught up in reincarnation. Because a lot of y'all are becoming more spiritually enlightened. You're not going to get caught up in the reincarnation system. You're not going to come back down here to the earth. You're going to go somewhere else. You're going to go somewhere else because you did the work and you became more spiritually enlightened while you were down here. So when you pass on, you'll figure it out and you won't make the same mistake. Unless you just like being down here and you want to come back down here. But the mandrake root actually has uh, properties to it, and it actually has its own life force, right? So just on a from a magician perspective and from a magical perspective, what could you use Mandrake Root for? You could actually use Mandrake Root. You could have a person who is sick. Somebody could be on their deathbed. And if you know the esoteric farming secrets and you know when to pick the Mandrake Root on certain moon cycles in different moon phases when it's at its peak, you can actually take the Mandrake Root, and it's said that when you actually pick the root, you will see it actually take shape and it'll look like a human body, and it will it's said to be a plant that actually makes a sound when it's being picked. Some people say that it screams and it makes a screeching noise when it leaves the ground. It's all kind of different history about the Mandrake Root, but it actually has a life force, and it actually is a very unique and intricate plant that can heal a lot of diseases and turn a lot of the problems that we have around. Somebody could be literally on their deathbed, and just because you have Mandrake Root and you take it and you sprinkle it with cinnamon and you put it in a bowl of water, and then on a certain moon cycle, you know what I'm saying, on a certain moon phase, when you the gibbous moon, when it's charging up to get to the full moon, you can actually use thought and intention with the Mandrake Root and put it in a bowl of water with the cinnamon, because the bark from the cinnamon, because the cinnamon comes from a actual tree. It's another very powerful herb that we use. We eat a lot of cinnamon and we eat a lot of honey. But the cinnamon and the Mandrake Root together, mixed with the water and the intention, if you know what you're doing, you could actually save someone's life. They could be on their deathbed, and you will place this in a bowl of water under the bed, and the Mandrake Root will, as the water evaporates and it's mixed with the Mandrake Root and the cinnamon, it's gonna be able to evaporate up. So if there is a person on their deathbed and you was to put the Mandrake Root with the water and the cinnamon in the bowl and put it under the bed, and it starts to evaporate up, within a couple days you'll see this person's vitality start to increase. You'll see their blood flow start to increase. They'll get their life force back, and they won't be as sick at all within a couple of days. And this goes back to the esoteric knowledge that we've acquired over a certain amount of time. No time, because time don't exist. But when we get into the different codes and the different rhythms of the universe, when we're talking about like the Tesla code, the 3, the 6, and the 9 are the three most powerful numbers. So you would put the Mandrake Root under the bed for about 3 days and watch that person's health and meditate on that person's health and allow the Mandrake Root to actually heal the person's aura and let them heal spiritually. Because you got to remember that a lot of these things that take place down here happen first in the higher dimensions, and they happen to you spiritually. A lot of times people get sick because their aura is weak. A lot of times people are in a bad state of mind, and it's not. It doesn't start in the 3D. It doesn't start in the third dimension. It starts in the higher dimensions or in the lower dimensions first, and then it gets to you, and then you start to actually feel it physically. But if you start healing people from a higher dimension first, like I'm saying, like with the Mandrake root or the Mandrake oil, and you start healing yourself on the internal first and from a higher dimension, about 3, 6, or 9 days, you know what I'm saying, you'll start to see the results down here in the physical, and it won't be so hard for you. Because a lot of this shit going on, we talking about like COVID and all this other shit. Man, look, curing sickness is probably one of the easiest things you could do. It's not hard at all. It's not hard at all. You have to first change your thinking first, because you wouldn't be sick if you didn't have the wrong thinking. So you got to reverse your thinking first. Sickness is in your aura. You have to kick sickness and the energy signature out of your aura. Sickness is an energy signature. It's not an actual thing, because you're not really supposed to get sick at all. It's a result of whatever we, put in our body that's artificial. Whether it be artificial thoughts, or you having healthy thoughts, or you having, what I'm saying, are you putting healthy things in your body? Like I'm saying with the light information. Are you putting artificial things in your body, or are you putting things that actually hold light information, or nightshade plants? Are you putting those into your body? So with the esoteric farming, it's actually different ways that you're supposed to plant plants. You're supposed to actually be planting plants in a way that is in tune with your own biorhythm and in tune with the biorhythms of the earth. Because the earth knows best. How, you're a consciousness and you want to plant plants, right? But you have to dig into Gaia. You have to dig into the earth to plant these plants, so that you can have the nutrients that you want to have. So the earth knows better than you do as far as where certain plants should grow and where certain plants should be placed for them to grow their best. You're not going to grow cucumbers in the same place that you're going to grow cannabis. You're not going to grow tomatoes in the same place that you're going to grow lettuce. Because there's a different spot, or a different, it's a different location that the earth wants you to actually grow these plants. You can grow watermelons where the tomatoes are supposed to be, but you're not going to get, you're not going to get the biggest watermelons that you could produce, because you're putting them in the wrong place. You see what I'm saying? It's already preset places that you're supposed to put these things, that you have to remember. You have to remember these things, beloved. Today's farming techniques are just big industrial farming techniques to get the most yield possible, and just put it wherever and use all the machinery that we have. And they take away the actual experience, and they actually rob the actual experience that you are supposed to have with your connection with the earth and your connection with farming. Because your connection with earth and your connection with farming plants that you're going to eat and put into your body, that's your property. That belongs to you. That's an experience that's supposed to be exclusive to you. I've already done plenty of farming in the past. I want to get back into farming now. As we go into this new year, it's a big goal for me to get back into the farming because it's a part of yourself. It's a part of myself. It's something that you're supposed to know, and it's something that you're supposed to do. Because anything that you eat and put into your body, if you grow it from seed to finish, even with the cannabis plants, once you learn how to grow cannabis from seed to finish, you'll have a different understanding of cannabis, and you'll have a different appreciation of cannabis. And actual knowing about vibrations and frequencies with the esoteric farming is so important. It is so important for you to know esoteric farming, man. Everything, you're made out of a certain percentage of water. These plants are made out of more water than you. That's all a plant is. A plant is chlorophyll, water, sunlight, and information. Unless you're talking about like fruits and vegetables and those type of plants. But these cannabis plants and all these other plants, they start off as water and information in the photosynthesis. And we already talked about programming the water, how you could program your own water. You know what I'm saying? So imagine you actually got your plants outside growing, and instead of using this stupid ass Bluetooth technology and these phones and all this other technology and shit to watch the Super Bowl or fucking whatever the fuck, you go and you actually play 528 hertz. You play heart chakra music. You play 432 hertz. You play root chakra music. You play 936 hertz. You play crown chakra music around your plants. So you are programming the water and the information. You're having the most high vibrational plants and the most high vibrational vegetables and fruits that you can possibly get down here on this earth, because you are programming the water in your food. You're programming the information in your food. And you know when to harvest your food according to the sun cycles and the moon cycles. This is your information. You have to remember your information. They robbed you of your information. You have to remember. You have to remember. The vibration of the food that we eat today is nowhere near the vibration that we used to have. Your ancestors will live to be 400 or 500 years old. Some of your ancestors lived and they didn't see death at all. And they still living right now. They in a higher dimension and they never died. They didn't pass away at all. Some people won't see death at all. Simply because they got the right information and they tuned in. Another highly effective plant that you don't know about is the Maca Root and the blue-green algae. But we're going to get into the Maca Root first, because the Maca Root is very, it's a little bit more popular, I'd say. Maca Root helps with the reproductive system. It helps with clairvoyance. It helps with the activation of the third eye too as well. You could take Maca Root pills. You can take Maca Root powder, but you definitely want to incorporate Maca Root into your diet, males and females. Maca Root is very important. Some people you see with the longest, thickest beards coming down past their neckline, they eat Maca Root on a daily basis. It's a part of their diet. Because Maca Root is who you are. Now with the blue-green algae, now first of all, with the Maca Root, let's get back to the Maca Root. With the Maca Root, you can use the Maca Root. If you're a male and you take Maca Root and you want to produce children, and you know, like, okay, me and my wife are going to have some children, right? Or you and your girlfriend, whoever. I don't know. I'm not here to judge you. I don't care if you. I'm not here to judge you. But You could take the Maca Root as a male and then give the Maca Root to the female, and you know on a certain day that you want to knock her up or you want to try for a child. Take the Maca Root 3 days in a row. And then on the 4th day, don't take the Maca Root. Go ahead and try to knock her up. You trying to bring in the most high vibrational seeds from the higher dimensions that you can. This is how you usher in these things. When we was talking about, I don't think we talked about actually letting your penis and your testicles receive sunlight. Your penis and your testicles are supposed to be receiving sunlight. As a male and as a female, you should let your ovaries get sunlight too as well. If you can go to a beach, you're very blessed. The nude beaches, people who go to nude beaches are very in tune. Not because it's lustful, not because they want to be around naked people and they want to see naked people. It's because you're able to actually lay out at the beach and let the sunlight come down on your testicles and on your penis. So you can supercharge your seed and supercharge your penis and supercharge your seed. Your testosterone is being raised by 300% when the sunlight hits your testicles. If you was to sit out in the sunlight and have your testicles just in the sunlight, have your penis and your balls just in the sunlight, the sun is gonna do justice, and your testosterone is gonna be raised. Like I said, you're gonna have the highest testosterone. Some people be taking these pills and all this stupid shit, man. Come on, man. You don't need testosterone pills and all that. Everything is here for you. If only you knew. If you got low testosterone, you need to go outside and you need to find you a place where you're secure. Sit your ass down or lay down, whatever the fuck you want to do. Let the sunlight heal your balls, heal your testicles, heal your seed, and give you that strength. Pull your pants back up and go on about your day. Ain't nobody gotta see you or look at you or none of that shit. Stop being fucking insecure. Yes, let the sunlight come down on your seed. Sunlight, seed. Seed needs sunlight. It's simple. Hello. I know I can't just say this shit to everybody and they'll just take that shit to face value, because some of you people are too stupid to understand what I'm saying. But I know I'm talking to a select group of people that need to hear me speak. And if this message resonates with you, then you need to go do it. It ain't no low testosterone. That don't exist. Not in this sphere of reality. If you're watching this video, it don't exist. There's plenty of things that don't exist if you're tuning into these videos. Now, with the blue-green algae, the blue-green algae is actually, is if you know what algae is grown at the bottom of lakes and at the bottom of oceans. With the blue-green algae, first of all, it's super hard to collect blue-green algae from the bottom of the ocean, because you got to find it in places near the ocean floor or at the bottom of certain lakes. Not every lake has blue-green algae. There's only really two lakes, or the main lake that's in Oregon in the United States, where they actually grow blue-green algae. And it's actually kind of a blue-green algae farm, right? But the difference between the blue-green algae and any other type of herb or plant is because the blue-green algae is in that nightshade family, the nightshade family too as well. It's able to grow without sunlight. When you talk about a plant that is able to grow in darkness without sunlight, you're talking about a different type of consciousness that is within inside of this plant or this herb. So when we were talking about merging both sides of the brain, the left side of the brain, the right side of the brain, with the third eye, the is, the rod, and the L, and you are meditating, and you making things come into fruition, you making things manifest at the speed of light, and you making your thoughts more intricate. You want this consciousness in your body from the blue green algae. The blue green algae is almost somewhat equivalent to taking mushrooms, right? But it has a different type of consciousness. Mushrooms has its own consciousness. The blue green algae has its own consciousness because it grows in darkness. It don't need nothing. It can sit under the water and be covered up by everything, and it's still gonna grow. You see what I'm saying? When we're talking about plants with otherworldly consciousness and things, you think marijuana, you think weed is from the earth. It's not. It's not. It didn't originate down here on Earth. When we're talking about the cannabis plant and we're talking about the marijuana plant, we're talking about plants that aren't from here. Cannabis comes from Canis Major, Canis Minor. You're talking about different planets. You're talking about Sirius, the Sirius star system, and Series A and Series B. These plants are not from here. Don't ask me how they got here. I can't tell you. I don't know. But it's not coincidence that you're talking about cannabis and then you look up Canis Major and Canis Minor, where they're originally from. So I wonder what those plants on those planets actually, what is weed really supposed to be like? Because anything that you're smoking down here and it didn't originate from down here, imagine what the cannabis plants on Canis Major and Canis Minor are like. You probably wouldn't want to smoke that at all. You probably smoke that shit and go into a coma or something, right? Because it's only about a percentage of what the real plant is, what we have down here. That's why you really shouldn't overindulge in marijuana and smoke it all the time, all day, every day. You really shouldn't. Because you don't know what you're really doing. You don't know. But you are somewhat weakening your aura and becoming more receptive. But when it comes to the blue-green algae, you are literally incorporating your third eye and incorporating the both left and right hemispheres of your brain into the center and into the center of your perception. When you put your hands together like this and you meditate, you're putting the left and right hemispheres of your brain together. That's why when you see the hands, the prayer hands and stuff like that, you always see them like this. You always see them like this. It's because it's esoteric knowledge for you to understand that when you close your eyes and when you pray and you put your hands together, you're putting both of the sides of your brain together, and you're thinking and you're manifesting and you praying for something to happen. You close your eyes and you putting your hands together, putting both of the hemispheres in your brain together, and you're visualizing and asking for what you want to happen. That's what's really happening when you put your hands together like that. That's why they tell you to put your hands together, or you see the prayer hands. That's why that's why it is what it is. Because the people who created these religions and the people who created these things for you to practice in, they know what's happening and know what's going on. You see what I'm saying? But the blue-green algae is a tool, and it's a different consciousness for you to tap into, and that's why it's here on the earth to bring you your enlightenment, so you can evolve as a human. You see what I mean? Just regular experiences that I've had with because I've taken all of these different plants. I've taken all these different plants, but the blue green algae is very different in nature, I'd say. because it almost in a way helps you stretch your brain and your thinking. Also, when you incorporate, like I told you, the blue green algae, when you incorporate affirmations and when you incorporate just thinking outside the box in general, and when you incorporate your manifestation techniques when under the influence of the blue green algae, and when you take the blue green algae and let the consciousness be in your mind, because it's darkness. When you're taking the blue green algae, you're tapping into the primordial darkness at the very beginning, the starting point of the universe. Because when the universe started, there wasn't anything. There was just, that's why when you look out into space, it's just blackness. It's nothing but darkness. You don't see anything. Right? That's what the blue green algae is. It's nothingness. It's pure darkness and pure nothingness. So you want to put that consciousness into your body, because that's the starting point. That's the starting point, the 0 point. That's the very beginning of creation. So if you're creating and you're manifesting and you're putting to use all of your knowledge and information, the blue green algae is going to help you actually bring these things into actual physical, tangible manifestation that you can touch, and you'll actually learn how to build these things, or how to make these things happen or come into fruition, so you can actually touch them and actually pick them up and actually experience them. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a quick video, quick information about my knowledge and information on these different plants. And I want you to go and do your own research on the Nightshade Plants. Do your own research on the Mandrake root, and do your own research on Maca Root, the blue green algae. And just, you know what I'm saying, and do your own research on the esoteric farming too as well, because the more people who know about these type of things, the more we can get back to being our true self, and the faster we can evolve as a collective consciousness, with the billions of people that are down here on quote unquote planet Earth. So I just challenge you to do a little bit of research on these things, and to get back to being your God self. Get back to knowing the information that you deserve to know before you incarnated down here into this body, that you already know. I'm not teaching you nothing that you don't know. I'm just helping you remember the things that you already know. I'm just helping you remember the things that you already know. I'm about to sign out. I'm about to go probably find me something healthy to eat. It's a little bit later over here. It's about 10 o'clock. So, you know, I got to get up early in the morning like I usually do and go do my 2-3 mile run like a fucking maniac with 20 pounds inside of a backpack, because that's just what I do. But anyways, I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Thanks for watching and tuning in. I love you. Peace.